Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 21st of July. The first important news is about understanding the Rajya Sabha rule of 176 and rule 267. There was a debate regarding the Manipur controversy, and Rajya Sabha member has asked for the rule 267 to be invoked, right? So there are the tussle ongoing between the chairman of Rajya Sabha and the members of Rajya Sabha. We'll understand that in detail. Second, that is center banned white rice export forthwith to control the price. With immediate effect, the union government has called for banning the part of the export. Third, that is Chandrayaan-3 completes 4 orbital raising maneuvers. Again, something important for India. In a milestone achievement, this Chandrayaan-3 is a successful attempt. For time being, it's a successful. Right? Other news, that is Supreme Court urged center to transfer cheetahs to another location. We have seen that in Kuno National Park, close to 3 to 4 cheetahs have died in total number. In recent, there are 3 cheetahs that has been died. And the last is an editorial, that is India's data protection laws need refinement. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is understanding Rajya Sabha Rule 176 versus Rule 267, something important for General Studies Paper 2. That is the Parliament and State Legislature structure, function, conduct of businesses, power and privileges, and issues arising from it. These are the part of the syllabus that is mentioned. You can check it out. So recently the Rajya Sabha has witnessed disruption, and the issue was regarding the part of Manipur dispute which is ongoing, and some of the compromising things that is coming out with the treatment with regards to women. No, I think this has been news for a couple of days, but the part is that the members of the parliament and even the members of Rajya Sabha in particular, they have asked that there should be discussion which should be made. But what has happened, that the chairman of the Rajya Sabha has said that the government has only agreed, or he has only allowed for the short duration discussion. This has raised concern because the member wanted to suspend the part of entire functioning and just to discuss the matter of Manipur, which is creating a grave situation for the country, specifically for the respect of a women and even the things that is worsening in Manipur. So the opposition has demanded that there should be a discussion under Rule 267, which has emerged as a thorny issues in the parliament in the recent. Now, no notice were given by the opposition under Rule 267 that was exposed in the recent time. जितनी भी notices दिए गए हैं Rule 267 के अंदर, स्पेसिफिकली राज्य सभा ने किसी को भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया है, ऐसा कहना है basically oppositions ka. And even to a larger extent, the fact is that the government after demonetization has not expected, basically they have accepted any part of the rule that is under 267. So something very important in light of the democratic setup that India is going for. This is something that we need to take concern for, and even in the terms of the part of the rights that is there for a member of parliament and even for a democratic setup where the functioning of the Rajya Sabha is essential, such a rule is mandatorily need to be invoked time by time. Now Rule 267 की अगर बात करें काउंसिल ऑफ स्टेट्स में, स्पेसिफिकली इस रूल के अंदर जो रूल ऑफ प्रोसीजर्स है, कंडक्ट ऑफ बिजनेसेस ऑफ द काउंसिल ऑफ स्टेट्स दैट इज राज्य सभा, रूल 267 के अंदर किसी भी मेंबर के पास ये पावर है कि वो चेयरमैन के कंसेंट के साथ जो पूरे दिन की जो वर्किंग है, दे कैन बी सस्पेंडेड and even the application motions related to the business listed in the council can be cancelled और जो urgent matter है उस पर discussion की जा सकती है for a good number of time. Now, simply put, under the rule, the Rajya Sabha MP can give a written notice to suspend all listed business. जितनी भी business पहले list की गई है उसे cancel कर दी जाएगी, and the discussion may be made on the issues that is concerning the nation. This is under the rule 267. Now, what is rule 176? डिस्कशन यहाँ पे भी होगी, बट ये जो डिस्कशन होगी दैट इज फॉर अ शॉर्टर ड्यूरेशन. सो 176 अलाउ फॉर अ शॉर्टर ड्यूरेशन डिस्कशन. इसके कुछ टाइम लिमिट को कन्फाइन की गई है. दिस टाइम लिमिट इज 2 to 2.5 hours within which the matter has to be basically completed. It has to be discussed. Now it states that any member who is desirous of taking the issues of urgent public importance can give a written letter to the Secretary General specifying its stand, his or her stand, and basically a party stand, because this is done unanimously. The जितने भी oppositions है वो एक conformity के साथ इस चीज को लिख करके देते हैं कि हमें ये चाहिए. The discussion has to be made. Now the notice shall be accompanied by an explanatory note sharing the reasons for the part of discussion. So this is some of the procedures that is required. However, it is clear that for the formal motions, the voting shall be held under the short discussions. So now at this point of time, opposition has gathered and they are asking the ruling government to make a detailed discussion under the rule of 267, right? Now, why has the rule 267 is a contagious issue, specifically for the present government, and even why the opposition is looking forward to invoke that part. So 267 is not only the way for MPs to question the government, but also to seek response. And they can ask questions related to any issues that is concerning the nation, and that is something that is essentially require a part of discussion. So the opposition has complained that none of the issues under 267 are being taken up. और कुछ टीएमसी के एमपीज हैं, उन्होंने भी कहा कि 216 के बाद जो डिमोनेटाइजेशन की इशू थी उसके बाद से गवर्नमेंट ने किसी भी तरह पे 267 को अलाउ नहीं किया है, which is not good sign for a healthy democracy, right? So this is all basic you need to know about Article 267 and Article 1, basically Rule 267 and Rule 167, relevant for your prelims examination also. Now moving ahead with other news, that is center banned white rice export worth forthwith to price control. Immediate effect के साथ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने बैन करने की बात की है white rice के exports को. Something important for general studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So according to the notifications of Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, which is a nodal body looking into the part for export in the country, जितनी भी चीजें export होती है, that has to be executed by the part of DGFT. तो DGFT ने प्रेस रिलीज में कहा है कि एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ नॉन बासमती राइस को विथ इमीडिएट इफेक्ट के लिए बैन किया जा रहा है. दिस हैज टू बी प्रोहिबिटेड. नाउ द डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ फॉरेन ट्रेड अनाउंस दैट द बैन वुड कम इनटू इफेक्ट इमीडिएटली, और किसी भी तरह की नॉन बासमती वाइट राइस को एक्सपोर्ट नहीं किया जाएगा अंटिल फर्दर ऑर्डर्स बाय द गवर्नमेंट. नाउ नॉन बासमती वाइट राइस एक्सपोर्ट डेटा की अगर बात करें, नॉन बासमती वाइट राइस इज अकाउंट फॉर नियरली 25 to 30% of the rice which is exported in the country. The total export of the non-basmati rice was valued at 4.2 million against 2.62 million in the preceding year. Major destinations of India's non-basmati rice is the major country where India export include the country like Thailand. Apart from it, Italy, Spain, Sri Lanka and the United States of America. Availability of non-basmati rice की अगर बात करें, specifically the white rice, Ministry of Food ने basically ये कहा है that they need to have an adequate availability of non-basmati rice in domestic market to curb the price, and non-basmati rice are exported to the category of free with duty export of 20%, right? तो price की अगर बात करें, retail price has increased to 11.5% over 3% in the past. And export duty is 20% in the non-basmati white rice that was imported last year to lower the price and even ensure the availability in the domestic market. However, export in this variety has increased to 33.66 lakh ton and to 42.12 lakh ton. These are the data बेसिक इफ यू आर एबल टू रिकॉल वेल एंड गुड, अगर आपको ये डेटा याद भी नहीं रहेगी तो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि आप मेंस में ये सारे डेटा को लिख पाएंगे. द बेसिक ट्रेंड नीड टू बी नोन टू यू, राइट. Now, the other news that is Chandrayaan 3 complete fourth orbit raising maneuver, something important for gender studies paper 3. That is the achievement of India in science and technology, Indianization of technology and development of new technology. It's a pride moment for us that the Chandrayaan 3 is making all successful attempts. जितनी भी चीज़ें अभी तक जर्नी कंप्लीट हुई है, वी हैव मेड द प्रोग्रेस आफ्टर 2 failed attempt. This is the time to get things done in the right place. The scientist has put the best possible effort, and we as a citizen of this country need to be proud with what the scientist of ISRO has actually done. So the Indian Space Research Organization have successfully performed the fourth orbital raising maneuver. This is what the data and the present progress that has been made is updated from the ISRO side, right? So the spacecraft is tracking and even they're working on the part of telemetry, tracking and command network in Bangalore. So these are the progress report. And India celebrate International Moon Day by propelling Chandrayaan 3 a step closer to moon. So this is the official images that was released by ISRO. You can see this is the fourth maneuver, 1, 2, 3, and this is fourth, where the Chandrayaan is moving. Gradually the path has been decided. This is a lunar transfer trajectory. This is moon-bound maneuvers, and this is earth-bound maneuver. Accordingly, the path is decided, and the system actually move in the designated path. Now, moon landing की अगर बात करें, Chandrayaan 3 is slated to make the soft landing on the moon surface next month, and currently it is ongoing on the Earth elliptical optical, with it subsequently raising the part of the orbit. The spacecraft is supposed to make 5 such orbit raising maneuvers and even continuously moving in a orbit which is designated and even commanded by the part of the operations that is there at the ground. Once it would have a similar part और उसके साथ साथ जो speed रखी गई है, that is up to close to 100 kilometers from the lunar surface, and the circular orbit with the final descent, the moon surface will be moving at the part of 23rd August to 24th. So this is the timeline that has been given by the ISRO team. Now, what is the aim of this mission? The aim of this mission is pretty clear, that it will expand our understanding for the moon. This is the first, with a detailed part of studies that is there about the topography, seismography, mineral identification, distributions, surface chemical compositions, thermophysical character of the topsoil, and compositions of the lunar atmosphere. So these are some of the things which will be taken care by this mission. And Chandrayaan 3 carries scientific instrument that is designated to study the path of various aspects of the lunar surface, right? And these include the thermophysical properties of the lunar regolithic, lunar seismicity, and the part of the lunar plasma environment. That is something, part of the composition that is vested to the landing site of the moon. So this is something which will help. India will explore on the part of moon, and once the things are progressively done, the details will be shared by ISRO, and accordingly, if reported in the news, I'll make you understand that how the things are progressing. The Supreme Court urged the center to transfer cheetahs to another location, something important for gender studies paper 3, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation and EIA. So concerned over the death of 3 cheetahs, Supreme Court has asked the union government to consider the part of relocation for these cheetahs, and some alternative sites was suggested by Supreme Court. That was a site of Rajasthan, right? So recently the Supreme Court has expressed its concern over the death of the 3 cheetahs in the Kuno National Park, which was relocated from South Africa and Namibia, right? And the Supreme Court has said that the union government should consider that 40% of 20 cheetahs were brought from South Africa and Namibia in the Kuno National Park within 1 year does not present a good picture. जो death जिस तरह से report हुई है, which is something is a clear evidential of the fact that the climatic conditions of Kuno National Park might not be suitable for the basically for the cheetahs that were translocated from Namibia or from South Africa. Now, some basics of background that you need to know. How many cheetahs? Initially 8 were there. And from South Africa, we have 12, 8 from Namibia and 12 from South Africa. Which particular location? The identification was only for Kuno National Park, right? And what is the carrying capacity is of Kuno is 21 cheetah, right? So this is something, this basic facts must be known to you. अगर ट्रांसलोकेशन प्रोग्राम की बात करें इंडिया की, साउथ अफ्रीका, मलावी एंड मोजाम्बिक, ये कुछ ऐसे कंट्रीज हैं जहाँ से ऑलरेडी इंडिया ने इस तरह की चीज़ें की हुई हैं. व्हाट इज द लॉन्ग टर्म पॉपुलेशन साइज एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम द चीता? दैट इज ऑफ 50 plus, right? And could it spare its space? Yes, it can share the space with the part of Asiatic lions. And are these cheetahs threat? Yes, with the Kuno, existing leopard population is something that they are threatened with. Now, the home to cheetahs in India, specifically कुछ और locations की अगर बात करें, राजस्थान में कुछ ऐसी जगह हैं. Rajasthan is a place where cheetahs are there, and even in the Madhya Pradesh, right? So these are the two places where most of the cheetahs are habitat in the location. Now the Supreme Court has asked कि मध्य प्रदेश के अलावा जो दूसरे alternative है वो राजस्थान होनी चाहिए. Now moving to the editorial of the day, that is India's data protection law need to be refinement, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what are the issues under this editorial and the theme? So this particular editorial has a theme or the focus that is about the data protection law. We'll see the issues around the data use, limited reach of data protection board, and the way forward. So I have been discussing the part of data protection law. I have made a discussion for the data protection in the PRS, also in PIB, and also in the Daily News and Editorial Analysis. I think most of you must be aware of the fact that what actually is the data protection law. Through this editorial, make you understand that what are the points that need to be taken care by the government to implement it at the fullest, और इसकी smooth functioning के लिए भी सारी चीज़ों को देखने की ज़रूरत है. The data protection law controls the gathering, use, transfer and disclosures of the personal informations and the security for the information. There is no basically अगर बात करें यूरोपियन कंट्रीज़ की, तो यूरोप की पॉपुलेशन एज अ पार्ट इंडिया वी हैव अ गुड नंबर ऑफ पीपल, और सारे लोगों की राइट्स को देखना, ध्यान रखना, राइट टू प्राइवेसी, ये सारी चीज़ों को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही हमें रूल्स बनाने की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज़ ऑल्सो कैटेगोरिकली नोटेड अबाउट द राइट टू प्राइवेसी. ना यूरोपियन यूनियन की बात करें, उनकी एक स्पेसिफिक लॉ है विच इज़ नोन एज यूरोपियन यूनियन डेटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉ और जनरल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन रेगुलेशन, विच कम इन टू इफेक्ट इन द मिडल ऑफ 2018, जिसके थ्रू बहुत ही कंप्रिहेंसिव डेटा लॉ बनाने की बात की गई थी, वेयर प्राइवेसी लॉज आर टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन. However, GDPR has been saddled with the challenges and implementation risk that has been negated with status, and the paper has triggered some part of dispute because कुछ RTI को लेकर के भी इशू है. कुछ RTI की जो information है वो गवर्नमेंट नहीं शेयर करेगी once this is passed, right? So there is a part of the concern that is there from the expert or the RTI activist that will this data protection law will abrogate the part of RTI rights. Now कुछ issues की अगर बात करें, that is around the data uses. This is relevant for your examination. If you're writing in mains, you need to analyze the fact that how the part of the data protection is creating a problem or hindrance. So the union government is likely to table this particular data protection bill, which has been amended third time in the ongoing session of the monsoon, which has just started yesterday only 20th. So the government has released the data protection bill with a public consultation, right? And this is the third amendment which has been brought in by the ministry, and the draft release for public comments is there. Suggestions ली गई हैं कि किस तरह से क्या क्या सिमिलैरिटी के साथ चीज़ों को रखने की ज़रूरत है, and what are the things that need to be augmented. Considering this, there are the gap in the data protection bill that would affect the implementations, and the scope of definitions of the data protection bill will protect the part of data and even potentially direct or indirectly affect the part of individual. लिमिटेड रीच की बात की गई है डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बोर्ड की. सी दिस द बोर्ड विच इज मेंट फॉर द ग्रीवांस रेड्रेसल. उसमें भी कुछ गैप्स हैं, कुछ लूप होल्स हैं. So the part of the gaps is that inability for the proposed data protection board which initiate the proceeding of its own. Under the bill, the board is authority that is entrusted with enforcing the law, and the board can only institute the part of proceeding for adjudicating if someone affected may complain or government or court that direct source, right? And the only exceptions to this rule is that when board take into actions, right, the part to have enforce certain duties that is listed under the bill. So provisions, right to individual, right of the citizen, and the grievance redressal mechanism need to be taken care by the data protection, और उनको ये भी ensure करना होगा that everything is working and everything is put in place with a neutrality approach. Now to conclude the part and even to look for the way forward, Competition Commission of India, जो responsible है enforcement of the antitrust law, will be something that will be making things more robust, more holistic. And there's a gaps which is there in the data protection bill, and they need to find the solutions for it. जो file and implementations है when this bill is passed in the parliament, both from the Rajya Sabha and from the Lok Sabha. उसके बाद ये जो एक्ट है वो जो बिल है वो फाइनली द पार्ट विच विल बी मेक रूल और एक्ट बनने के बाद उसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो फुल प्रूफ लेजिस्लेशन के साथ पास होंगी आफ्टर अ डिस्कशन विच विल इंश्योर दैट द डेमोक्रेटिक राइट ऑफ अ सिटीजन इज टेकन इनटू कंसिडरेशन. Now the changes may help to bring the data protection bill future ready and full proof with a better compliance mechanism. तो जो ग्रीवांस रेड्रेसल है, कंप्लेन मैकेनिज्म है, वो और दुरुस्त हो. दिस वुड बी मोर रोबस्ट, मोर होलिस्टिक एंड हेल्पिंग टू द मासेस, एंड एक्चुअली जो कोर एसेंस है डेटा प्रोटेक्शंस की उसके साथ ही इसे पास की जानी चाहिए. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द पॉइंट एंड एनालिसिस पार्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इन मेंस कैन बी रेलिवेंटली आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option was D. For second, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice about the United Nations Security Council. These are some of the basic questions. See, UPSC has changed its trend in asking the question, like which statement is correct, 1, 2, 3, or all of them. We'll be making questions accordingly, but अभी के लिए कुछ basics question भी आपको practice करने की ज़रूरत है. In meanwhile, I'll be upgrading the part of the questions also. The UN Charter provides 15 members of the UNSC. It's a permanent resident for the United Nations headquarters in New York City. So do check out for the correct option. Second is about E20 fuel. That is basically e-fuel is 20% blend of ethanol and 80% of the fossil fuel. Flex engine are those that can run with the ratio of ethanol blending from E20 to 100. So do check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more current affair question will give you an edge and advantage over the real examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other queries about courses, admissions, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching.